Friends, hello, hope you are well. Well, I think it is safe we are in the last midst of an era here for Palantir, and I think that's pretty safe to say with what's coming here next. Palantir is one of the last cheap and really undervalued AI stocks in the market right now. I mean, it's hard to argue with that, I think, for most people. When you're looking into the next 5 years for Palantir, we're talking about a split. We're talking about a company that will be worth $1 trillion. There's a lot of things to come here with Palantir, and it's kind of easy money at this point. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be the next NVIDIA, but they are going to be a big runner here when it comes to AI stocks. So let's break down, make this kind of short, simple, sweet with what's going on and why you should feel very comfortable about what is happening next here with Palantir. But thank you so much for being here, and subscribe to listen to me yap more about what I'm going to be talking about here with a lot of AI stocks. There's right now, I think the majority of investors right now, with this big hype we've had with AI, and now we had a sell-off. Now we're kind of, it sounds like we're gearing up again here for another AI run boom with a lot of AI companies. And I think all of us, the majority of us, are looking out there to see what are some other very low cap, undervalued, under $10 AI stocks right now. And there are a few, and there's actually going to be a few here that I'm going to talk about. And there's a lot of companies out there that say they're AI, but really they're just it's kind of dangerous to call them AI stocks. So I strictly want to stick to companies that are AI 100%, and let's really focus on Palantir here. So first things first, Palantir here will be releasing their next quarterly here in the beginning of August. Now, obviously, June, July, August, we're in July right now, so we've still got some time, but Palantir more than likely this will be the threshold where we break into $30 here, probably the next 2-3 weeks here. And now we have analysts coming out and saying they are rating Palantir here at a $30 to $35 minimum stock price with what's going on and what they know that's going to be happening here. And more than likely, these next quarterlies that come out, they're going to crush them once again. And that's been the MO with Palantir here. Now, all these deals, these government contracts, and we expect that to continue. And when you have a company that is not only in this big hype phase right now with AI in general, where everyone's wanting to buy the hype, they're wanting to get into it, but obviously put their money into something that's making money, that has achieved their bread and butter of what they are structurally as a company, which is going to be Palantir here. That's why it is attracting so many people, and why the stock really has not stopped growing since the beginning of the year. Even last year, really starting at the end of last year, starting to see a lot of stuff just kind of like build up here. So this is why, and honestly, when I say $35, I'm on the low end of the scale. I really, there's people out here, analysts, YouTubers, whatever, personal friends that I have that think Palantir is going to be like $150 stock by December. I'm not saying that's not possible, but I'm kind of trying to take this, quarterly by quarterly at this point. I don't want to put too much out there, but Palantir has a $100 stock within the next 6 months to a year. I don't think that's really crazy to say at all, especially if they keep capturing these big quarterlies, they keep capturing big deals here with government contracts and whatever else they just throw at us here soon, which they are. So with that, is that more than likely we are getting into another AI boom. And what is that going to mean? Probably what that means is that we're going to see AI within the next 6 months, especially if we run into a bull market here within 6 months to a year, whenever this next bull run takes over in the market. Whether that, more than likely, that could be in January. When we see an election take place, more than not, January, the start of the year, is when we see a little bits and pieces come together here to push the market with, where we see the next 4 years going. Now, obviously, not wanting to get into politics here, but, with whoever's going to win here, this could really pick or choose which way the market could get to a bull run sooner than later, with different policies. So this is why you really need to set yourself up. And I honestly, God, I think buying Palantir still at $30 is a deal when you talk about the next 5 years in Palantir here. Now, not saying Palantir is going to have the same trajectory as NVIDIA. Obviously, NVIDIA is its own planet. It's its own system. It has something very unique. So it's going to be very hard for Palantir to replicate that. And a totally different company, totally different things. Now, we saw just two big shifts take place here in the market with two different investors that have very good track records, one of them especially. So with that, Cathie Woods just scooped up a lot more. Just days ago, she scooped up a lot of Palantir, so she's gearing up for something. With that, she dumped all of her Tesla, which was very interesting because Tesla just had this major shift, especially in their stock price, but not only, where Tesla's going in the next 5 to 10 years with what they're looking into with AI themselves. So it's really, really interesting that that's going on. Now, with that, you have Nancy. We all know Nancy. Nancy scooped up even more NVIDIA. Now that is in Broadcom, and Broadcom obviously is about to have that split. So we're still talking about AI stocks with all this. Now, what is interesting about this? Personally, this is just me talking. This has not happened. There's no news, anything like that, so I don't want to start rumors here. But I do want to make it very, this is like being an investor. Being an investor, you have to get to things before they blow up. You have to be a detective when you are investing. That's how you make good moves. You have to look into things. You have to solve clues and follow the breadcrumbs. And I can't help but think that as we see Nancy herself buy more of these AI companies, and Palantir is really chipping away when it comes to, the mountain of AI and where they are going to solidify themselves at, that, imagine within 6 months to a year, Palantir really does start to take off even more to where it crushes the rest of the year. And then next year, we see Nancy Pelosi here buy, X amount of shares of Palantir. What do you think that would do to Palantir just on the basis of Nancy buying into it? It would go freaking nuts. It would jump probably 15-20% of whatever it is, even if it's $150, $200 at that point, just based off of, it's like when Nancy buys something, it's a guarantee. I mean, her track record, I don't want to talk about too much because it's like a broken record at this point, but imagine if that were to happen. So that's something you really have to think about too. Now, obviously, that's just what if that could happen, but these are things to think about because we already have Palantir, a solid AI company that's growing no matter what. It's an unstoppable train at this point. Cathie Woods is digging into these AI companies, and not just Cathie, Nancy is digging into these AI companies, but it's not just Nancy. It is a lot of other investors like Cathie Woods too. So this is really something to really think about. So friends, with that news, I just trying to filter that news in there with, kind of get everyone on the same page of what's going on. Palantir, just a month ago, we were at $20. Now we are almost at $30. More than likely, we'll have, this is going to be a rocky 2 weeks, but up until we get to this quarterly that's about to come out here soon, days away, weeks away, we're probably going to see Palantir work its way up to $30. And we have not had Palantir at $30 for a long time, really since it came to market back in 2021. So with these quarterlies coming out, more than likely it looks like they're going to crush them once again. We are on just the edge of them probably capturing some other deal we're not even aware of right now. And on top of that, we're probably going to see more investment firms, when they do crush this next quarterly, step in and say, hey, we're going to buy more. We're going to buy into Palantir. We're going to buy X amount of shares. So these are all things that this is just another level of Palantir taking off right now. It's just, and this is why it's so important when looking at Palantir right now at $27, not to look at this and go, wow, this is a really expensive stock. It is expensive. I understand that for most general blue-collar investors. I do get that. This is not a $7, $8 stock. This is almost a $30 stock, maybe $30 by the time you're watching this. I don't know. But the thing is, $30 for Palantir right now, 6 months from now, could be, a nightmare for you because 6 months from now, it could be at $60. It could be at $100. It could just be maybe at a measly $40. But still, nonetheless, it's going to be expensive. Palantir is set to be an expensive stock here as time continues. It's not going to really lose a lot, and what it does lose, people are going to scoop up even more, and they're going to buy back in. And like I said, I'm still buying Palantir. Anything under anything under $40 right now with Palantir, I am still buying, because I'm looking for the next 5-10 years of where Palantir is going to go. So I am totally comfortable with buying Palantir right now. Just, every time it falls, I just average in. That's what I do. I'm just scooping up more, because my thought process is, if I can hold Palantir here for the next 5-10 years, as long as everything keeps going smooth, and eventually I stop buying around the $40-50 range and get far ahead into it when it does take off here, whenever that happens here, X amount of time, and maybe we could get into a situation here in the future where Palantir is talking about taking a stock split, which stock split would be amazing, because then you're double, tripling, quadrupling your amount of shares, and then more than likely Palantir will continue to do well into the future. So these are things you really want to consider and think about. This is how people became extremely rich with Tesla. This is how people became extremely rich recently with Nvidia. I mean, this is just what you're seeing. Now, Nvidia is down a little bit, but Nvidia within the next 6 months, especially when they release this new black chip of theirs, Nvidia is going to take off. Nvidia probably within 60 days from now is probably going to be $160, $150 stock easily. Once again, that's just the reality of it. This time next year, it could be at $200 to $250. That's just what's going to happen. There's no come back and watch this video, I guarantee you. Friends, I'm done yapping about Palantir. I wish you all the best of luck. I think Palantir at this point is somewhat like Tesla, somewhat like Nvidia, where it's just kind of free money. As long as you put your money in there and you wait, you have patience, which is going to be the hardest thing for any investor. It's just time. You're going to do well. You're going to do well. Friends, bye-bye.